I will instead discuss a more fundamental and insidious part of IS's strategy and how it is attempting to destroy our civilization, taking a not insignificant number of British Muslims, a higher number than those who have joined the British Army, with it. The philosopher Bertrand Russell once said, "In every walk of life, independence of mind is punished by failure more and more as economic organizations grow larger and more rigid. Is it surprising that men become increasingly docile, increasingly ready to submit to dictation and forego the right of thinking for themselves?" This dilemma and how it plays out with women, specifically radicalized women in their late teens and early 20s, was given a comprehensive examination in the BBC Two This World documentary Jihadi Brides, which aired 2 years ago. It focused on the stories of Glasgow-born Aqsa Mahmood, Mancunian twins Salma and Zara Halain, and Londoners Khadija Dare, Amira Abbasi, Khadija Sultana, and Shamima Begum. Just a few of the women who have flown out to join the Islamic State, married IS fighters, and are responsible for glorifying some of the most brutal acts of terror we see today. Dr. Catherine Brown, a lecturer in defence studies at King's College London, examined the Twitter feeds of these and other young IS brides and found cute kittens juxtaposed with the glorification of 9/11, usually in a form of text speak. It was particularly jarring for me to listen to the strong Glaswegian vowels of the actress playing Aqsa Mahmood. I spent part of my childhood in Glasgow and used to speak with a similar accent. Privately educated Aqsa had every benefit a young British girl could ask for, yet still trod a path of subservience, dehumanization, and collusion with barbarism. This was partly explained in the programme through her fixation with a hardline internet preacher. Her lawyer, Anwar Amma Anwar, also claimed that she was a victim of grooming. While I absolutely don't doubt that the grooming explanation is true, it ignores the earlier stage of radicalization, propagation of the us versus them narrative, superbly explained by my associate Manwar Ali. A former radical himself, he now teaches the importance of pluralism and non-partisanship at Ipswich-based charity Jimas. Not only does the us versus them mentality emphasize the otherness of non-Muslims, but it demeans and castigates people from Muslim backgrounds who happen to be different. For example, Shia, Ahmadi, feminist, LGBT, liberal Muslims, or ex-Muslims. It even dehumanizes the individuals who violent extremists claim to be acting on behalf of. As Shiraz Maher, a counter-extremism expert at King's College London, wrote in The New Statesman in 2015, a callousness towards the concerns of ordinary Syrians had also crept into the attitudes of these fighters, the constituency in whose defence they once claimed to be acting. When asked what he thought of those Syrians who opposed Islamic State, one fighter conceded, "There are a number of them that dislike us. However, the lands belong to Allah and not them. Also, I came here to please my Creator and not them." Other British fighters have displayed a similar attitude. One of them tweeted a picture of 3 captured Syrians with the caption, "Got these criminals today. God willing, they'll be killed tomorrow. Can't wait for that feeling when you just killed someone," quote unquote. As someone with a background in equality and human rights who was a practicing Muslim for 12 years, it makes me sick to the pit of my stomach to see members of the new generation signing up to a version of Islam that is so anti-human, unegalitarian, and brimming with hate. And this is before they even fall into the clutches of IS itself. As Dr. Brown confirmed, many of these girls are clearly intelligent. The Halain twins had 28 GCSEs between them, and Aqsa Mahmood wanted to become a doctor. However, academic achievement alone is no substitute for becoming a well-rounded individual with highly developed critical thinking skills. Too often, especially in minority communities, education is just seen as a means to an end, with the end in question relating to professional milestones rather than personal fulfillment. Young British Muslims are caught at the crossroads between their parents' identity, which they don't fully relate to as second and third generation minorities, a wider society whose values are ostensibly different from the ones they grew up with, and a dominant interpretation of Islam, usually transmitted online, that does not conform to modern equality and human rights standards. In order to make sense of these confusing and often competing facets of reality, young people must be trained in logic, argument, reason, and the ability to weigh up different truth claims. They also need to feel empowered by strong female leadership in Muslim communities, both in civic terms and religious terms. An example of the former is the civil society organisation Inspire, which completed a series of Making a Stand roadshows across the UK in 2015. These equipped Muslim women with the skills to just say no to extremism, bigotry, and patriarchy in all its forms. An example of the latter is where individuals like Dr. Amina Wadood, a Muslim convert and American professor who specializes in Islam and gender, come in. She was quoted in The Guardian on IS in 2015 and said, "This is a powerful wake-up call. Just because people say they are doing something in the name of Islam does not mean you have to agree with them. And as soon as you have the freedom not to agree with an interpretation of Islam, then the question of interpretation comes up. And that's my life right there, talking about how Islam has always been filtered through the interpretation of people who have the power." Thank you very much.